One of our very good friends who's been here for many years, his name is Ben Suntag. Ben, I had approached him about 3 months ago and asked him if he would write something for us. Ben had written things for the Repertory Theater, had lived here for almost 20 years, and about a week or two ago left us to go to a assisted living. And Adela had asked me, since he had written and spent time writing this little story, that maybe I could read it. And since I do read English sometimes, although I wreck the language, I would like to read you Ben Suntag's story. First, my glasses. Untitled. Ralph Kilmore always wanted a convertible. As far back as he could remember, his heart was set on getting one. That's how it was on that July day as he was coming out of his house for his daily stroll. The sun wasn't bright, and though the weatherman predicted rain, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Ralph stopped off his porch and admired the car, which stood parked near the curb. A car like this is just what I always wanted, he said, poking his head against the side window. It's beautiful. Why can't I have a car like this? Suddenly, an idea occurred to him. Why couldn't he have a car like this? Sure, no one's around. He peeked to the front of the automobile once more. The keys were there. Ralph shook his head. No, what am I thinking? He opened the door of the convertible just to take a last look. It sure is a beautiful car. He stopped to admire it once more, then turned to walk away. Hey you! A voice called to him. Ralph was frightened as he saw an officer approaching. Me? Mr. Kilmore's voice was puzzled as he glanced to the left and then to the right, expecting to find a cop speaking to somebody else. The cop looked at the car and then threw a mysterious glance in Ralph's direction. You know you can't park this car here. Don't you see the fire hydrant? Ralph Kilmore finally regained his senses. But officer, I could explain everything. You see the car? No back talk, the cop interrupted. Now take this automobile away from here before I run you in. Ralph stared at the car. Now's my chance. Now's my chance. Yes, officer, I'll take it away immediately. The cop started to walk away, but then stopped, scratched the back of his head, and turned back. And I don't want to see you or that car again, do you understand? Ralph's hand shivered on the knob of the door, but he managed to obtain a smile on his lonesome face. Don't worry, officer. I'm sure that you won't see either of us again. Mr. Kilmore's foot pressed down on the gas pedal. The motor responded, sending cold chills up his spine. The car moved. Nervous and sweating, he slowly passed the officer of the law and then looked into the mirror as he expected all hell to break loose in back of him. The car reached the corner. The officer was no longer in sight. Ralph wiped the sweat off his forehead, then pushed the pedal all the way down. The gas pedal, that is. Why can't I have a car like this? Yes, why can't I have a car like this? And he took off like a bat out of hell. After a few minutes, siren echoed in the back of the speeding car. Were the cops after him? Mr. Kilmore quickly looked into the rearview mirror. 2 motorcycle policemen were heading his way. His worried eyes opened wider. The beating of his heart almost drowned out the sound of the police sirens. They knew. They know. But I'll escape. I got to escape. The car skidded around a curve on 2 wheels. They can't get me now. No, not now. I'll escape. The race is on. The blue convertible dashed in and out of traffic, trying to throw the stubborn cops off of the trail, while the nervous driver cursed and laughed, using every side road that he knew, and kept driving like the devil himself. 3 hours later, Mrs. Kilmore, well, it was like this. We didn't know what to expect and figured he had something to hide, so he kept on his trail until the Western Bridge. The cop wet his lips with his sticky tongue, and then, well, his car went over the edge. Everything in it was smashed. Your husband was already dead when we arrived there. I'm very sorry. Mrs. Kilmore stared straight at the cops, trying to plead with them to tell her that they made a mistake. But there was no mistake. She closed the door with tears in her eyes and silently walked into the bedroom. She picked up a letter which was lying on the dresser and read it. Suddenly, a blank expression appeared on her tear-laden face, and she realized that the letter, which she held in her hand, had never been received by her late husband. The letter read, "Dear Ralph, I have known that you always longed for a flashy car, and finally I have saved up enough money to fulfill your wish. I have just bought a blue convertible, which you will find in the front of the house with the keys inside the car. Your loving wife, Norma."